Yo, what is good, YouTube, and welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, I'm going to be doing episode number 15 of I Build Your Teams, the series where I build my viewers' teams into the best teams possible for my team unlimited and or competitive play based on how much MT they have and what their squad is currently looking like. Before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 9,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day and would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. Without further ado, let's hop right into it. Let's start off with the first team, which comes in from Starzy. He says he wants to build the best team that he can around Curry. D-Rob is a placeholder, and he's got basically every card in the game. So he has a really, really good team for sure, and a lot of flexibility as well. So if you're going to build the best team around Curry, the key to that is going to be defense. But I also think that I don't like running Giannis and Shaq together. I don't like this. These guys both, Shaq can't shoot at all. Giannis's release is very questionable, and he steps in from the corners. So for me personally, if you're going to run Shaq, who's a non-shooting center, I mean, running him next to Curry is fine because Curry's obviously going to be more of a 300 and you can run straight pick and roll with Shaq. But I would definitely still throw Tim Thomas in at the 2, and I would be, or at the 3, and I would be putting Luol Deng at the 2 to be your lock. That's what I would do. I would swap Luol and Dr. J. I do think you could argue Dr. J is the better card than Luol, but I think Luol's defense and size is going to be more useful next to a guy like Curry in terms of just making your team fit. So for me personally, what I would be doing is I would be throwing Luol in at the 2, bringing Dr. J off the bench, throwing Giannis at the, Tim Thomas at the 3, and then bringing Giannis off the bench. Additionally, I would move LeBron to the backup 3, Giannis to the backup 4, and I may even consider replacing Giannis, period, with a guy like Bam Adebayo or a Thurl Bailey or somebody like that, simply just because I don't like Giannis, but if I don't like his release. But if you're a big fan of Giannis, feel free to keep using him. What I would do, though, once you get Tim Duncan, is I would run Duncan and AD as your 4s and take Giannis out of your lineup entirely. But backup PG as well, I would be swapping out. I'd be putting Magic in there instead of Lonzo Ball. I think Magic is better than Lonzo. I do think Magic is probably the best point guard in the game right now. But if you want to run Curry as your starting lineup, that's fine. But you could go Magic, Dr. J, LeBron, Giannis, and then eventually Tim Duncan or AD once you get Tim Duncan and then D-Rob. That's, in my opinion, the perfect bench to run next to a starting lineup with Steph, Luol Deng, Tim Thomas, the other one of Tim and AD, and Shaq as your starting 5. Now, second squad today comes in from Cheese. He's got 184,000 MT Xbox current gen. Says he likes his team, but it could be better. And he's got a pretty decent team. He's got SGA, he's got Kobe, he's got Paulo Banchero, Bam Adebayo, and KP off the bench. He's got John Wall, Grant Hill, Jonathan Isaac, Evan Mobley, and Taco Fall. And it is kind of small, kind of hard to see, I will say that. But I overall do like this team. In my opinion, I think you could make a couple changes though. Well, 184K. I'm not 100% sure how much Luol Deng is going for because I've heard he's gone up in price, but maybe consider finding a way to slot him in there, selling Grant Hill so that you can then have Luol and Kobe as your 2s. You could also use a taller PG. In all honesty, the best option for your team and for the price is just going to go get Amethyst Kevin Porter Jr., one of the best releases in the game. 6'6" PG, elite slasher, really good shooter as well. I know he's not a next level amazing defender, but he's 6'6" and he's like 2,000 MT. He's an absolute steal. That's who I'd be running out the backup point guard position. And yes, I legitimately think Amethyst Kevin Porter Jr. is better than John Wall, one of the most underappreciated and underrated cards in the game. He is amazing. One other thing, I'll be playing Jaren Jackson Jr. over Evan Mobley. That's another way to free up some MT as well, is to sell Evan Mobley and play Jaren Jackson Jr. With Bam as your 2 4s. And I'd probably add another 3-point shooting center as well. Maybe a Tyson Chandler. He's super cheap, still very good. He's got Hoff anchor, so he's a really good interior defender, 7'1", and can hit open shots. So I might have him in your last 3 as well, just to swap out if Taco isn't doing it for you. So that'd give you the same starting lineup. Basically, I'd go SGA, Luol, Paulo, Bam, and KP, and off the bench something like KPJ, Kobe, Jonathan Isaac, Jaren Jackson, and Taco, and then you could have John Wall and Tyson Chandler in your last 3. But yeah, I like the squad. A couple changes will definitely help improve it more. This team comes in from TK Carter. He's got 175,000 MT, plays no money spent on next gen. Same thing for him. Get Kevin Porter Jr. as your backup PG. He and Lonzo can be your backup PGs. He's significantly better than D-Rose at this point, especially because of his size. I think that's a pretty easy upgrade. Dr. J's a beast. Jonathan Isaac's really good. Jimmy and Ben, I mean, you're probably not running them to be, I don't know. I don't exactly know how you're running your team, to be honest. So the way that I would do this, to be honest, is I would go a 10-man of Lonzo Ball, Julius Erving, Jonathan Isaac, grind for Jaren Jackson Jr. and throw him at the 4, and then throw KP at the 5. Off the bench, you go Kevin Porter Jr., Grant Hill at the 2. Who are we going to 3? We'll go I'm not totally sure. We'll go Thurl Bailey at the 3, Evan Mobley at the 4, and Tyson Chandler at the 5. That's the 10-man that I would do, in my personal opinion. Is Lonzo Julius, Jonathan Isaac, Jaren Jackson Jr., and KP off the bench, Kevin Porter Jr., Grant Hill, Thurl Bailey, Evan Mobley, and who did I say for the backup 5? Tyson Chandler. That 10-man is something that you can very easily build with the MT that you have, and that actually probably isn't going to cost you much, to be honest, because none of those players that you're buying are actually particularly expensive. You could even look, again, to sell Grant Hill, buy Luol Deng, so you have the 2 best 2s in the game, and Julius and Luol Deng, but not necessary if you don't want to. That'll spend the majority of your MT, so kind of up to you. But next team comes in from Peyton. He's got 60 to 70,000 MT. He's got unauctionable Lonzo from the locker code, and Braun has 18 Hall of Fame badges. He's got Lonzo, Ricky Davis, SGA, Luol Deng, LeBron, Thurl Bailey, Tim Duncan, AD, KP, and Kareem. Obviously a God squad. This is a very, very good 10-man. If you're running Ricky Davis, I assume is your primary ball handler. He is a better primary ball handler than Luol Deng, even though I do think Luol's the better card. So I'm totally cool with you starting Ricky Davis if you want to, for his offensive prowess, especially next to a defensive PG like Lonzo and a guy who's an elite defender in LeBron. I don't know. I don't think it'd be a terrible idea to sell your souped LeBron and buy somebody like a Jonathan Isaac who's significantly cheaper, just to make yourself some MT, because I know LeBron is souped, but he doesn't have anchor. His stats and badges aren't insane. Like, his stats are very, very good. His badges are kind of missing some things, even though I guess with 18 hops, that definitely would help it. But I think you're going to make a lot of MT just by doing that, which is going to help you in future weeks. And for me personally, I think that's a bigger upgrade than actually having an 18 hop LeBron at the 3. And then you can run Jonathan Isaac and Thurl Bailey as your 3s. And I think you're going to be totally fine there. Even adds a little bit more size and maybe even a little bit more defense to your lineup. So really like that upgrade. I think that's the only swap that I'd make, though, because I really like the rest of your team. Maybe you swap out Lonzo for Magic, but Lonzo's great. If you like Lonzo, keep him. No problems there. Hezzy's got 120,000 MT plays on Xbox current gen. Penny and SGA, Kobe and Ricky Davis, Tim Thomas, LeBron, Chris Bosh. That's an interesting one. Dwight Howard, Kareem, and KP. Easy swap for me. I just throw Jaren Jackson Jr. in for Chris Bosh. I mean, I think you sell Chris Bosh and get the MT that you can out of him. I don't think he's on the level of Jaren or Dwight at the power forward position. Again, maybe you sell LeBron, especially since he's coming off your bench. Sell him, get Jonathan Isaac, especially this LeBron. 'Tis the season LeBron is better, but I don't think Nightmare LeBron is really, especially if it's a base LeBron, is really even better than Jonathan Isaac. I think they're probably on about the same level. And I like the defense that he could provide for you off the bench, especially since you're running 2 guys in SGA and Ricky Davis, for both solid defenders, but not next level amazing. Last thing I'd probably do is sell Kobe and buy Luol Deng. So go something like Penny, Luol Deng, Tim Thomas, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Kareem, and then off the bench you go SGA, Ricky Davis, Jonathan Isaac, Dwight Howard, and KP. That's the 10-man that I'd be trying to run right now. Second to last team today comes in from AJ. He's got 100,000 MT, trying to figure out where he should upgrade. And he's got SGA, Luol Deng, Russ, Grant Hill, Thurl Bailey, James Worthy, Bam Adebayo, Dwight, KP, and Tyson Chandler. Again, the easiest upgrade is Kevin Porter Jr. because of how cheap he is. Lonzo is better if you want to go Lonzo, but that's going to be a significantly more expensive purchase. So in my opinion, I think you just buy KPJ. He's going to be a great, great card for you. Super cheap, allows you to save your MT for future drops. You've already got an amazing budget squad built. Don't think you need to be spending a ton of MT to upgrade when KPJ is close to as good as Lonzo and so much cheaper. You could also pick up Jonathan Isaac for James Worthy if you want, but again, Worthy will get the job done off the bench. He's a free card. No reason that you have to upgrade there if you don't want to. The rest of the team, I wouldn't waste my time spending MT to upgrade. The one thing I might, Dwight's unauctionable. Never mind. I was going to say if Dwight's not unauctionable, I might sell him and play Jaren Jackson Jr., but since Dwight is unauctionable, totally cool with slotting him in there still at the power forward position. So like this team, go get yourself back a PG. Yeah, that's about it. I like this squad a lot. And then finally, last team today comes in from Rafa. He's got 300,000 MT. And he has a absolute God squad. This is a flex team for sure. SGA, Luol Deng, LeBron, Giannis, D-Rob, Lonzo, MJ, Tim Thomas, Dwight, and Hakeem. My personal opinion, I prefer several power forwards over Giannis. I just don't like his release. It frustrates me. I prefer Bam. I prefer AD. I prefer Tim Duncan. I prefer Thurl Bailey even. I prefer all those guys over Giannis. So for me, I'd really throw any of those guys in there for Giannis. But this is where it becomes opinion, because guys like Kobe, or guys like MJ, me personally, I prefer Kobe. But If you prefer MJ, that's opinion. Again, I'd be starting Tim Thomas, but if you prefer LeBron, I mean, I do think Tim Thomas is better, but if you want to start LeBron, that's totally fine. Point guard position, SGA and Lonzo, two of the best point guards in the game. The point guard position is basically opinion between the top 5 or 6 guys. D-Rob's the best center in the game. Hakeem, you could argue he's better than Kareem, better than Shaq, better than KP. You could kind of argue those guys, again, in whatever order you want. So for a team like this, it really does come down to play style and opinion. For me personally, the team that I'd probably be running would be something along the lines of SGA, Luol, Tim Duncan or Tim Thomas, Dwight or AD or somebody like that at the power forward position, and D-Rob. And then off the bench, I'd probably be going something along the lines of Magic, Kobe, LeBron, Dwight Howard, and KP. That's probably the 10-man I'd be running, assuming that you have those guys. But it doesn't really matter too much, to be completely honest. It all comes down to opinion at the end of the day. And you have the MT and the squad to make basically whatever cards that you want to add to your team possible. So that is going to do it for this video. If you did enjoy, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe, and I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon. I appreciate y'all. Peace.